According to some scholars, the frequency of serpentine figure in the traditions and human symbolism is rooted in something real that happened at the dawn of human evolution. Among some researchers there is some confusion when considering the very short time in which the human species evolved. By the time Eve, the first mythical woman and the mother of all living, convinced to pick the forbidden fruit of the tree of life, humanity was victim of the first great deception of the serpent. A tale told by Genesis, the opening book of the Bible, has a history rich in symbolism. According to the Western religious thought, the incident narrated by the sacred text presents the most insidious enemy of humanity must be careful. However, the shape of the snake is not only present in the stories of the Semitic tradition that gave rise to the story of Genesis. If you look at the mythology of other cultures, we discover a scene of reptiles, snakes and feathered reptiles populated strange hybrid beings. According to some scholars, the frequency of serpentine figure in the traditions and human symbolism is rooted in something real that happened to the dawn of human evolution. The scenario I told, the myths of the world, is almost the same. Seers considered divine, reptilian appearance and of great power, delivered into the hands of humanity technological knowledge and urban civilization. Is it possible that non-human entities have affected the normal evolutionary development of mankind? Does the rapid evolution of man, unable to harmonize with the times and the rules of nature, could depend on it? Is it possible that our DNA has been altered in a way artificial purpose is unknown to us? See also, humans arrived from another planet. Insulation, back problems and pain during childbirth prove as science has made great strides in understanding the mechanisms regulating the evolution of living beings, man's origin still remains a mystery. Archaeological research and fossil records, rather than clarify the history of human evolution, simply complicate a puzzle in itself complicated enough. Among some researchers there was some confusion when the very short time in which the human species evolved was considered. To make an improper comparison, we can think of the dinosaurs, a group of creatures that dominated the Earth for 160 million years, a series of extremely long biological life, or at least, in harmony with the cosmic times of the universe. But if we consider Homo sapiens, one is surprised considering that the genus Homo appeared on the planet only 2 million years ago and, through a bold series of evolutionary leaps, has come to build some 6,000 years ago first modern cities in Mesopotamia, before moving, in a few thousand years, from cuneiform to computers and exploring uncharted territory for spaceflight. Because the Homo sapiens is so fast. Among the first to speak of outside intervention in the history of the evolution of man was Zecharia Sitchin, the researcher, who has dedicated his life to the study of Sumerian mythology. In many of his books, Sitchin says his theory that, in the distant past, a group of aliens traveling from the planet Nibiru, who called the Anunnaki, came down to Earth to exploit the mineral resources of our planet. Given the need for labor for mineral extraction, it is believed that the Anunnaki genetically engineered species of them more like Earth, grafting their own DNA. He was elected a hominid, Homo erectus. We could be the result of genetic manipulation that has torn us from our natural development. See also, who were the true gods of Eden. According to the hypothesis of David Icke, some alien reptiles, under the guise of public human men, they took control of this planet mankind, preventing normal spiritual, social and technological developments. The purpose of this would be to enslave humanity, and take possession definitely of planetary resources including human. The ideas contained in his book Nihil's Matrix, apparently original and quirky, but validated by a long and detailed series of documented evidence, describe our life on planet Earth, as an existential deception directed by alien forces and interdimensional interterrestrials, and they keep us on a mental, emotional and spiritual prison. In confirmation of these theories, it seems that the ancient myths land all agree on one thing: the appearance of these ancient visitors, which some consider invaders, joins the family of reptiles. And in almost all the legends, it referred to the ancient gods half man, half reptile. The Sumerians are the first urbanized population in the world. They were descendants of a native ethnic group in southern Mesopotamia, modern southeastern Iraq, who settled in the region, since the time migrated around 5000 BC until the rise of Babylon around 1500 BC. The Sumerian term is actually the name given to the ancient inhabitants of Mesopotamia by his successors, the people of Semitic Akkadians. The Sumerians, or Shumeri Sumer, in fact, called Sagiga, literally black-headed people, and their Lanki Ndi, instead of the civilized lords. In the pantheon of Sumerian gods, Enki figure, the deity of crafts, well, water, sea, lakes, wisdom and creation. Enki, in some representations, appears as a half-man, half-snake. The meaning of its name is the Lord of the Earth. He was the guardian of the divine powers called me, the gifts of civilization of humanity would benefit. His image is a snake with a double ellipse or caduceus, like the stick of Asclepius. According to some authors, it is not surprising that the symbol of Enki was used later as a symbol of medicine, due to its baffling to the DNA double helix-like. The stories of the Old Testament, the Bible, takes up some themes of the Sumerian and Babylonian mythology. According to the authors of the sacred text, the deceiver of humanity, that appears in the episode of Original Sin, has the appearance of a snake. At the beginning of human history, the snake Adam and Eve proposes an alternative to that provided by the cosmic order, in order to be like God. What does this mean? According to some commentators, Adam and Eve envisioned in the proposal of the serpent in the way of immortality, that would make them like God. Others, however, see in the proposal the possibility for humanity to determine for itself what is good and what is bad, without any external divine authority. The snake man proposes to become a god. In fact, Eve objections. Snake Seraphic answered, "You will not die. Rather, God knows that when you eat of it your eyes open and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." It is no longer the Creator who determines what is good or bad, but the creature. Others have interpreted the story of Original Sin as an evolutionary shortcut offered to humanity, to avoid a process that probably would have required thousands, if not millions of years. Irenaeus, a major Christian writer of the 3rd century, called him Adam and Eve, a sin of impatience, a silver lining to keep going. The snake would have made technological and cultural bearer of the men had not yet developed naturally and in perfect harmony with the cosmic laws of the universe skills. In this interpretation, stories Sumerian myth of Enki, bearer of civilization, and also the myth of Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods to give men intersect. See also, Prometheus, a movie about aliens and esoteric lighting Nephilim. The short period of time in which humanity has evolved raises some anthropologies. Compared with the times of nature, man seems an era appeared on the planet. It is an evolution that really is not completely in harmony with the cosmos. The cost of this rapid evolution has been the separation of man from nature and the consequent destruction of the planet Eden, separation of men, Tower of Babel, and the consequent loss of unity of purpose and alienation individuals. In this perspective, the snake has embodied the symbol of the devil. Diabolos, what separates Middle East and Africa. In the Middle East, that it has been transmitted by the jinnis, mysterious men, snake or dragons, that were present since ancient times. In the pre-Islamic era, the jinn was credited with a remarkable power. It was almost always able to express a devastating and often deadly malice. The ancient Egyptians worshipped many deities hybrid that fuse human and animal characteristics, including the ancient Egyptian god Sobek, who looks like a crocodile-headed man was. The god Sobek has a crocodile head. In Mali there is a population, the Dogon, in which the myth of creation has as its protagonist a reptile man. The Dogon claim to be a descendant of the god Amma, star Potalo Sirius B. Amma has created the universe with stars and constellations and then created Tunga, the earth in the form of a woman, with which the generation of the Nama mated, two beings half man and half serpent, identified as force vital water and sent to earth to teach mankind fundamental, such as weaving, metallurgy and agriculture teachings. The Dogon retained the knowledge nothing less than miraculous. In 1947, after living with the Dogon for more than 17 years, Marcel Griel, French anthropologist, has brought a truly amazing story. Tribal elders revealed to him the Griel, one of his, even hidden from most of the tribal community's best-kept secrets. They claim to have received a deep understanding of the solar system by one of the mysterious Nummo. Older people are aware of the 4 moons of Jupiter, the rings of Saturn, and are aware of the spiral shape of the Milky Way, and they know that the planets move around the Sun and not vice versa. But what has left most puzzled ethnologists is the knowledge of the Dogon of the orbits and the density of stars in the Sirius system. The Dogon thoroughly confirmed the existence of Sirius A, B and C, knowledge that modern science has recently acquired. Sirius C remained unknown until 1995, when astronomers noticed that the gravitational influence on the movement of the entire system. See also, the mysterious connection between Sirius and the history of humanity. The ancient Greece, the first mythical king of Athens, Scrops, was half man and half snake. In Greek mythology, snakes were the servants of the Titans and the giants, who were sometimes represented in the form angiform, with legs formed by termination snake very similar to those of Enki. Among them is the image of giant Clitoris. C.E. Crope. Eastern Asia. In the folk tales of ancient China it includes 2 brothers, Nuwa, a goddess of creation, and Fuxi, one of the 3 Chinese sovereign legendary 3 Augustus lived, according to tradition, between 2952 and 2836, before Christ. Both are shown as hybrid beings, formed by a human torso and tail of a serpent. According to tradition it is Nuwa, who invents music and technique to play the flute, but above all she creates men, clay molding them. Fuxi was represented always tied by the tail, her sister Nuwa, who took in marriage. The image is represented with a compass and square in hand. The 2 instruments indicate that the 2 sovereigns invented the rules, norms, standards. According to Chinese folklore, these 2 gods are responsible for the creation and education of the human race. Fuxi and Nuwa, carrying a compass and a square. In Asian culture has also been transmitted legends of dragons or lizards, forms between the physical and the astral plane, but rarely described in humanoid form, and can change the way passing from human to reptilian. This feature is often attributed to Asian emperors. They believed they were able to voluntarily change their human form into a dragon and vice versa. The Christian theology, which bases its thinking also in the Old Testament Hebrew, took the story of original sin as a key part of the so-called fall of man. Redemption, or defeat the prince of this world Satan, has taken place with the incarnation, death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, in whom the primary purpose is reconstituted, and that is going to happen with the return of Jesus at the end of time and the arrival of the heavenly Jerusalem, the new creation in harmony with the cosmic order. See also, exposing the hidden religion Vatican. An interesting symbol of redemption and the defeat of the serpent is Marian iconography, The Virgin Mary is depicted in the act of stepping on the head of the serpent, symbol of victory over evil. Mary stepping on the head of the serpent. Pre-Columbian America Mayan mythology knows a very important figure related to what we are developing, the god Quetzalcoatl. According to the stories, this Mayan deity teaches people the secrets of agriculture, metallurgy and astronomy. Humanity owes its rapid evolutionary development to an external figure of reptile. Depictions of Quetzalcoatl are quite disturbing, because the Mayan god are trying to devour a man. So this gift given by God to mankind was not entirely free? What did the serpent in return? What part of humanity is eating? Apparently, according to this ancient representation of the god Quetzalcoatl, he liked to eat humans. It was contemporary. The reptile remains a symbol of human culture, and is often associated with symbols of the great noble family's blue blood reptile, from the brands of large companies and works of art represent the shameless domination reptile on the human race, as a nefarious plague, snake devouring a baby, Alpha famous symbol of the Visconti family of Milan. Alfa Romeo symbol, a snake crowned, therefore a king devours a man. Creepy statues on display at the Vigeland Park in Oslo, very clearly describing the reptile dominion over mankind. What justifies this constant and widespread presence of reptile symbols in human culture? And because it seems that even today there are many references to the serpent and power? Are we truly prey of an alien domination that made us derail the path of natural evolution? What is the purpose of the serpent? After this long, and largely incomplete, picture of myths and symbols, it seems possible to indicate some highlights. 1. The serpent is a symbol present in almost all human cultures. 2. The serpent or dragon makes a gift to humanity, consisting of technology and culture, accelerating the natural process of evolution. 3. The serpent or dragon is always in command, is king, emperor or president. 4. The snake gift is not free, he devours human. What do you want in return? 5. Power of the serpent is still going on. You just need to have eyes to notice.